afternoon, clients, investors, and listeners. Welcome you to another Monday morning breakfast session. I'll be taking you to the happenings on the fixed income market for last week and what to expect for this week. For the money markets and treasury bills, we saw last week the funding rates increased by 32.36% and 33% for the open repo and overnight, respectively, as system liquidity deficit persisted to close the week at a negative 702 billion. The treasury bill secondary market again closed the week on a bearish note, following sell-offs witnessed which were largely influenced by system illiquidity. Consequently, yields advanced by an average of 48 basis points week on week to 23.16% at the end of the week. At the money market auction that held last week, CBN offered 81.9 billion worth of treasury bills, which were oversubscribed by 189.96 billion. It subsequently allocated 79.98 billion. Price closed flat at 91 and 182 days bills, while the stock rate declined by 126 basis points, 170 basis points, and 196 basis points for 91, 182, and 364 day bills, respectively. Next slide, please. For the bond markets, the federal government bond secondary market traded quietly but closed the week on a bearish note. System liquidity persisted. On a tenor basis, yields across the short end of the curve advanced by an average of 1 basis point week on week, while mid to long-term end advanced by 3 basis points. Maturities that actively traded over the week were the 2025, 2030, 2031, and 2033. On average, yield across the benchmark bonds declined by 2 basis points, closing the week at 19.10%. For the foreign exchange market, we can see our Naira continue to decline on the NAFEM and share window from 1,631.21 Naira to 1,641.27 Naira. Outlook for the week, the funding rates are expected to sustain the current levels as system liquidity persists. The FGM bond secondary market is expected to trade in line with system liquidity. Also, the treasury bills secondary market is also expected to trade in line with system liquidity. That being said, that we implore our clients, investors, and listeners to take advantage of our wide array of products, ranging from our lead fixed income fund, which primarily focuses on capital market preservation. The risk on this fund is low. Dividends are paid biannually with a minimum holding period of 90 days. And an annualized yield on this fund is 24.77%. For our investors that have a flair for equities and want to balance it out with fixed, you can subscribe to our lead balance fund. The risk profile on this is minimum. Dividends are paid annually with a minimum holding period of 90 days. The annualized yield on this fund is 17.23%. For our clients that have a flair for fixed deposits, we implore you to take advantage of our lead Gazelle portfolio. Tenor ranges from 90 to 190 days with very palatable interest rates competitive to what the bank deposits will not give you. For our foreign exchange, clients that have a flair for that, we implore you to subscribe to our lead dollar fund. The risk on this profile is low. Dividends on these funds are paid biannually with a minimum holding period of 180 days. The fund gives our clients and subscribers access to Eurobond markets, which they would not ordinarily have access to, with a threshold of 200,000. And an annualized yield on this fund is 14.95%. For our clients that want to deal volume in FX, we implore you to take advantage of our Eurobond trading. The risk on this fund is on this product is minimal. With investment possibilities from $200,000. It gives our investors access to sub-Saharan Africa, corporate bonds like Angola, Nigeria, and Fidelity. The coupons are paid biannually on this fund. That being said, I will hand you over to our expert trader, Mr. Taufik Akolade, to give you an insight on the happenings on the equity space. Thank you, Mr. Akolade.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Omotayo. Thank you for the insight into the fixed income market. So it's time for the equities market. Good morning once again, all our value clients. So we're taking you through an overview of the equities market. But this morning, we are going to say more on some of the factors we consider that made us to come out with some of those recommendations, because all our recommendations all along the line is been buy, hold, and sell. But we need to come out to show you the valuation and the basis of some of those recommendations. So we not really have time to look at happenings in the market, but in the course of last week, from this graph that has been displayed, we could say that out of the 5 trading section, only Monday and Friday, the equities market recorded gain. So the other 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, market recorded losses. The minus 12 basis point loss on Tuesday, on Wednesday 10 basis point, and then on Thursday 1 basis point. So the gain recorded on Monday and Tuesday, on Friday, net off some of those gains. So week on week, we close the market on 0.90%. So in terms of year-to-date return, it has also increased a bit to 30.54%, and then L share index currently at 97,606.37 basis points. So in terms of trade turnover, it was lower than the last week. So this morning, we'll be taking you through valuation across all various sectors in our market. We have banking sector. If you check our coverage, our money recommendation, we have some stock under banking sector. We have some under conglomerate. We have some under insurance, oil and gas. We also have under industrial and consumer. But from time to time, we've been sending out this recommendation and putting some of those key metrics to justify our action, why we are putting them on buy or on hold. So this morning, we are going to quickly run through the valuation and some of those key metrics. In banking sector, looking at this slide, we have like almost 8 or 9 banks. But what is much important, if you are doing any recommendation, performance across sectors vary because different sectors have their own peculiarity, they have their own challenges. Currently, you can see that insurance sector and banking sector, they are into financial services provision, and they are making money from the FS gain. While other sectors like industrial and consumer, they are suffering from the FX losses because they are still depending on some of these raw material coming from abroad. For the banking, if you check our recommendation as at the close of Friday, we have Access Bank. Access Bank closed 19 naira 70 kobo. But if you look at the earnings per share, we've seen the half-year performance of all the banks. We've also seen some other companies in other sectors. We have also taken a step further by doing a kind of extrapolation, by doing a forecast for 2024 performance for the Access Bank. Earnings per share at the end of 2024 financial is expected to be at 10 naira 50 kobo. And then we're also expecting any yield of 53.57. And then if you look at the PE ratio, 1.87%, it means that if you invest in Access Bank, if you are to recover your principal, your investment in Access Bank based on their results, it's going to take you 1 year and like almost 8 or 9 months to recover that money. So within 2 years, based on the performance of the Access Bank, you get your money back. So we are still putting on buy recommendation. If you look at price to book ratio, it's still 0.37%, and then 1.5 return on asset 1.54. And then what is much more important is that if you are doing any valuation or you are making recommendation, you need to do apple for apple, meaning that you have to look at the industry average. If you look at the industry average of earnings per share for banks, it's 13.8, it's 13 naira 80 kobo. Access Bank is in 10 naira 55 kobo, FCMB 3 naira 40 kobo, Fidelity Bank 7 naira 7 kobo, GTB 47 naira 13 kobo, and then Stanbic IBTC and others. So if you look at some of this performance, they are still not far from the industry average. But GTB, Access Bank, and Zenith Bank, that is why they've been forming our top recommendation. They are reasons why we are recommending. If you check price to book ratio, industry average is still price to earnings ratio, industry average is 4.13 times. But if you look at the Access Bank, 1.87 times, to FCMB 2.5 times, Fidelity Bank 2.0, and others. So in that range, some of these companies are not far from the industry average in terms of price to book ratio and price to earning ratio. So these are the reasons why from time to time we've been putting in our recommendation, not all of them, but Fidelity Bank, in this week we are placing it on hold, while other banks we are saying you can buy them because we have also seen their results. They are making money from other sources of income, and they're also making from the foreign exchange gain. And they're also looking at other sector. If you look at Okomu, Okomu closed 363 naira on Friday. Earnings per share as at the second quarter, which we also extrapolated for the 2024, we expected that Okomu is going to generate earnings per share of 42 naira 38 kobo. And then what is the price to earnings ratio? The price to earnings ratio is 8.5 times. If you look at the industry average, for the earnings per share is 60 naira 7 kobo. Presco, based on their quality performance in second quarter, when we did the extrapolation at the end of financial year of 2024, they are likely to make 77 naira and 75 kobo. So for now, Okomu, we are also placing it on hold, while Presco, we are also placing it on buy. In terms of earnings per share, their earnings per share is more than the industry average of 60 naira 7 kobo. And if you look at price to book ratio of price to book earnings ratio of Presco is even close to the industry average of 7.70, while their own is 6.24. So for this week, we are placing Okomu on hold. So why Presco is good to go for buy. And then for other tickers, Itel Africa, we're also placing it on hold, and MTN. MTN as our second quarter, we've seen their performance, and by the time you look at what they have been experiencing in terms of losses for the 2024, they are still going to be in the red zone. That this company is still bleeding. It does not mean that this company, investors who are invested in some of this company, we are not saying you should just sell off like that. You have to look at your average cost of holding. You have to look at your average price. So people bought at 167 naira when they did their public offering. But for now, as an investor that is expressing the cash flow from any of these takers, you may not get anything in form of cash flow from the MTN because the company is still having foreign exchange challenges. Of course, they have come out with some action plans on how to navigate these challenges, but we'll begin to see the green light. For now, Okomu and the Airtel Africa, we are placing it on hold. As you can see, any industry average for the earnings per share is 39 naira 26 kobo because of Airtel Africa, while MTN is still going to record losses for the 2023. So earnings per share is going to be negative for 14 naira 56 kobo. So it's also old. If you look at their price to earnings ratio, it's still negative of 4.3 times, meaning that for the next 4 years, except there's an action plan, they will not also come out of this mess. But we've all seen what is happening to the MTN, and their management is also bringing in some strategies to ensure that they navigate this issue. It's about macroeconomic headwinds that usually affect companies that are in cyclical sector. So industrial. So for this week, under telecom tickers, we are placing Airtel Africa and MTN, we are placing them on hold. While for industrial, we are only considering Boa Cement, West African Portland Cement, we are considering them for buy. We're also looking at Dangote Cement is also Geregu, Transcorp Power, they are all old. Because if you look at earnings per share of Dangote Cement, is 22 naira 52 kobo based on their half-year performance, and the industry earnings per share is 8 naira 97 kobo. It's still above the industry average. In terms of price to earnings ratio, industry average is 54.39, while if you look at Dangote Cement and Boa Cement, they are 54.37, and the Dangote Cement is also 42.39, and then Lafarge is 9.95. So they are still lower than the industry average. When they are lower than industry average, it means that stock is still on value. You can still take a decision. So that's for the industrial sector. We are placing Dangote Cement, Boa Cement, and West African Portland Cement, which is also termed as Lafarge. We are placing those three tickers as buy for this week. And then for the consumer, don't forget that that sector is in cyclical business as well. They've faced serious macroeconomic headwinds. That is why, because of FX losses, we've seen companies under that sector coming out to come and raise right issue because they are having negative share of that fund. They needed cash flow for them to be to continue in their business operation. So for the consumer sector, if you look at Boa Food, that is the only, I think it's only Boa Food and Unilever and then Flour Mill that are having positive earnings per share. The other one, Nestle, is negative of 4 naira, 446 naira 75 kobo, while Dangote Sugar negative 23 naira, Cadbury negative 2 naira 10 kobo, Boa Food 14 naira 55 kobo, and then Unilever is 1 naira 55, 1 naira 54 kobo. So industry average of the consumer sector, you can see is a negative of 71 naira 34 kobo. For those that are under positive, that are also doing better than industry average, they are the likes of a Flour Mill, the likes of Unilever, and the Boa Food, because we have also seen their results. So for this week, those three takers, we're also placing them on buy. For Flour Mill is buy, Unilever is also buy. Of course, for Boa Food, they have a positive earnings per share, but we're still placing this on hold because of the price So not that it's not all the time that you say buy, 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 buy. The price is still high. We are hoping that by the time the price comes down, we can advise investor. Because if you look at the PE ratio, if you are to recoup your money in this investment, it will take like almost 27 years. But when price comes down, there's tendency for us to change our rating position and recommend buy. That's the basis why we are placing it on what? On hold for this week. Why for the oil and gas, we only have corn oil, MRS, and then Seplat. Those three, MRS, they are the one we are placing on buy. So Total is also on buy. So the other one we also placing on hold. From time to time, we've been recommending Eternal Oil that people should sell because they're having a negative earnings per share of 7.42 kobo. So people may not really get dividends. So, but when we see other results for the subsequent quarters or for the subsequent periods, we'll be able to see how they are going to navigate those negative shareholders, negative earnings per share. But for this week, MRS, Cornwall, they are on buy. Cornwall, I think, recently also declared dividends. For insurance company, ICO Insurance, Massad Insurance, we are also representing those as buy, and them insurance. If you look at their performance in terms of earnings per share, they are negative, 69 kobo. For Massad Insurance, 5.58 kobo, and for the them insurance, 4.24 kobo. They are still bigger than the industry average. So for conglomerates, Custodian Insurance, Transcorp Power, United UAC, and PLC, they also buy. If you look at earnings per share, 7.62 kobo, 2.60 kobo, and 6.50 kobo, they are higher. Custodian and UAC, and they are higher than industry average of 4.56 kobo, while Transcorp is also lower. But it's a good buy when you look at the price that is also trading. So because of time, in terms of expectation, we've taken you through reasons why from time to time we'll continue to bring out key metrics to determine your the trend you need to trend as to buy, to sell on hold. So we have been able to showcase performance of some of these companies and our expectations for the year in terms of what they're likely to come out from their results, because the Q2 share performance is also very important. That will also determine how they are going to navigate other period before they close the year, the period 2024. So in terms of expectations for the week, Geregu also came out with a very impressive 9-month result last week. Because the price is still undervalued, in our recommendation, we are still placing Geregu on hold because the earnings per share and earnings yield is still very minimal compared to industry average. So, and then if you also look at news fleeting around, federal government has also approved a new system allowing petrol marketers to leave PMS directly from the Dangote refinery. We believe this will likely put oil marketing sector stock in a play in the medium term. They'll begin to benefit because they are buying directly from the Dangote refinery. Now is going to have impact in that sector. And then this week, today, the Arada is going to be listed in our market. We expect to also push utilizations about 59 trillion. They are listing 3.05 trillion value of the Arada is also into upstream and refining petroleum products. So it's going to be across our markets. And then finally, we anticipate that equities market is going to close on a positive note, but on slightly within the week because of some of these activities around Arada and then and the oil and gas. So this is the end of the equities market presentation. It's time for question and answer. Thank you. Okay, good morning, sir. Somebody asked, we saw your survey last week. We are going to share the result with you. Are you going to share the result with? Okay, survey. We'll send out our survey. Okay, please. Are you talking about our reports? Please, clarification, please. Okay, for customer service, okay, thank you. It's also, well, if there are certain things we are doing that we are not perfect. We're in business because of you. If there are areas you think we need to improve upon, that's what the purpose is meant for. So we want your feedback from the survey. Thank you. We share your recommendation with us. This section will be helpful. So that will be sent out after, before the close of the business. I think we'll send it out as soon as possible. With many CEO buying stock heavily, that is Bua Cement, Buafood, Seplat, Geregu. Don't you think we need to take position? Well, if you are taking position, we will be able to come out with key metrics. We are being guided by key metrics that determine whether a company is overvalued, undervalued, appropriately valued. So outside those things, we don't usually give encourage people to buy on sentiment. So let's focus on those key metrics that are very important variables to determine. And then what's now investing in NGS group stock? It's just like a typical stock that is listed in our markets, but it's not in our recommendation because now somebody is also bringing it up. We'll try and see their performance. When stock exchange was demutualized about a few years ago, they listed NGS as a trading company on the NGS, and they've been trading. Of course, we've not put them in our recommendation, but we'll see to that and see whether their result can meet investors' expectation in terms of return or return on investment. Thank you. Okay, with which depth of flour mill do you think recommendation on buy? We are placing it on buy because it's not about a loss. Sometimes when companies make money, if you look at other companies and other consumer index, it's only flour mill, Food, and Unilever that are also doing very well. If a company is taking finance from the banks and they want to invest in a strategy that's going to improve their top line. So what is important is that over time they are going to be able to pay off. So you have to look at the leverage of the flour mill. But for now, the earnings per share is still positive, meaning that they have been able to service those debts continuously. So there is no cause for alarm. It's still under buy. And even we've seen another group that's indicating interest to buy flour mill, that when that activities come on board and is approved by SEC and the shareholder, they are ready to pay 17 naira to all the claims. So, but for now, I'm not sure that is going to scale through. But for now, we still play flour mill in our buy recommendation. Is it trading less than 17 naira? Those people are proposing. Then what are your? You say why your team faceless? There are other times I want to buy stocks. Sir, our customer service link emails is open to all our customers. And then we've also assigned RM to each client. Please, you can just, okay, Mr. Kulala Adepoju, we're going to check, we'll look at our database and we'll advise on our account officer. So I apologize for that. But from time to time, our customer service, we have a team of professional customer service that respond to all your queries. But if you have not been getting feedback in that regard, somebody will take it up. Mr. Kulala, that is noted. We'll get back to you after this section. Thank you. With Flame coming on court order, what is your take to take over anyway? With Flame upcoming court order, well, that will be determined by shareholders. They will put it in voting. If it's stay true, fine. If otherwise, we saw what happened in Oando, it didn't go through, and Oando is still trading. So until then, we can't give any. The court will determine that for now. Thank you. Any other question? Can we have people that want to interact with us?
Good morning, Mr. Wahab. Please go ahead.
Yeah, please. Now that RRL is moved to NGS, someone having a RRL in NGS, how can you move it?
Okay,
For
sir.
example, I have RRL
it's going to be listed by introduction, but the standard practice is that when the stock is listed on NGS from NASD, it will go to the registrar. When the demutualized stock exchange, they started with NASD and then they appointed Data Mart as registrar. But later, exchange after they finalized, they moved the stock back to the NGS. So it will go through a more dematerialization process. But we'll be at the meeting today. We're going to interact with all their management. If there's anything they can also do to ensure that investors are value clear, don't go through that process, because the process sometimes takes time before registrar work on bringing into the CSS on the NGS. So we're going to give you feedback on that. I'll call you personally in that regard, sir. But for now, the standard practice is that it will go through dematerialization, and you have to complete a DMAT form and then submit to the registrar, and they'll credit it as if you want to dematerialize certificate. But if anything is different from that, we'll let you know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Okay, somebody is saying which is difficult to buy the stock at the market price. Okay. Why is it okay? Well, okay, I say why is it difficult to buy at the market price? It depends. Sometimes when you may want to buy at the market price, but if the stock is on strong bid, it won't be available. You may not see the other side of the market. There is bid and there's offer. Sometimes if there is no offer and you are using the current market price to bid, you may not get it. And that happens only about 2 weeks ago when Seplat was on bid. So it wasn't that it's not automatic that when you key a stock on market price, you will get it. If that stock is available, there is offer, you will get it. But if it's on bid, you won't get it. That's how it works out. Okay, somebody said, what is happening? The fate of shareholders. SEC, that's the apex regulatory body. They promised that those shareholders that couldn't get their money through the EDC registrar at that time, they said they are going to refund them. We are following up because we have other clients that are also complaining they haven't gotten their dividend. But for now, there's not any development in that regard. But if there's anything, once the news is out, we're going to send mail out to all our value customers who have claim in Dangote Flour and the to reach out to the EDC registrars for or whatever model they want to use for people to recover their money. Okay, somebody said bonus. Well, for now, it has not been credited because it also go through the SEC for approval. So any bonus or the company has declared, it will go through SEC. So I think they are at SEC. Once they get approval, let's look at it. Give and take between now and December is going to be credited. So we're also following up with the African Prudential Registrar. So they need to get all the regulatory approval for them to be able to complete that exercise. Okay, somebody said what is actually happening in mutual benefits? It's on suspension currently. The company is currently under suspension, so you can't trade on it. NGS has suspended it, just as they did to AICO. But AICO has been the suspension has been listed on AICO. Okay, somebody said, what's your comment on Oando? Well, we still maintain our position on Oando. It's not part of our recommendation. We saw a publication last week that the result has been delayed, that anytime soon they are going to release it. For now, it's not part of our recommendation. When we see the result, we will do an X-ray of the result and will come out whether we want you to buy or we want you to sell or to hold. But for now, no action. Okay, somebody say, things for requirement for stock trader, explain further. Thing, by my understanding, that's tax and education number. If you are opening an account as a corporate institution, we advise you that, of course, the lead trader is for seamless trading on NGS, real-time. But if it's a corporate account, it's a requirement from the regulators that any corporate account opening, you must provide your team tax and education number. Either you are a corporate or you are a registered business. So you have to provide that. If you don't have that, I think you can go to any tax office within your jurisdiction. They can do that for you and they will generate the number for you. It's important you have that. No, it's not required for individual. For individual account opening is not required. It's only the corporate that's limited and a business. So individual, once you have your BVN, you have your NIM, national ID card, utility bills, you are good to go with account opening. That's the basic requirement. Now, Sterling Bank is not, yes, it's not been credited. Everything has processes and procedure. After the application collation, they will file to SEC, and the SEC will look at it, whether it's oversubscribed, undersubscribed, or appropriately subscribed. When they look at some of those information, and then they can give them approval, and then thereafter they can start allotting. But for now, they've completed their exercise, and then it has been packaged and forwarded to the SEC. So it's at SEC. It has not been credited yet. When allotment is out, you see it in the paper publication, they'll publish it, at least in 3 or 4 popular dailies. Okay, in the absence of further questions, we would like to thank all our value and esteemed friends this morning for joining this program. We appreciate you and we thank you for your loyalties and your patronage. So do have a wonderful week. We'll send the presentation before the close of the business. Thank you. Good morning once again.